Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's currently the 4th of October, so I feel like it's time to finally talk about the books that I read in September and the books that I want to read going into October. Okay, so like I said, September was a very good month for me. I read 9 books this month, and I know for some people it may seem like a small goal, like usually read like 20 books a month. But seeing as my goal was 5 books a month, 5 books this month to get back on track with my reading goal, and seeing as I also average like 2 to 3 books per month, I feel like this is a very good reading wrap up. So I'm gonna start off with my first 5-star read of the month, which was How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. This book was basically like a novella in Carton's point of view. Like I don't know where it goes in the series. I think it was after. It must be after the Queen of Nothing. I'm pretty sure because yeah, it has to be after the Queen of Nothing. Queen of Nothing. But like I said, it's a book in Carter's point of view, and we get to see how he functions without Jude, and we get to see more of what made him how he is. And I like that we get to see him go on journeys without Jude, because I feel like the fandom paints him too much of like a baby girl type of man, and it's like the book was called Cruel Prince for a reason. Like he literally ripped off a fairy's wing because he didn't want to bow down to him, and then also he killed like half the army, I believe, because he wanted to get Jude back. So I feel like the fandom has to stop. Like it's it's funny to some extent, but like at some point it gets kind of annoying. It's like with the Percy Jackson thing with Nico, when Nico said, "Hey Percy, I kind of have a crush on you," and everyone just made that Percy's whole personality. When Percy was like, "Huh?" He was just a little confused, and everyone acts like, "Oh, I'm not your type." Is like a meme to just use and describe Percy, and that's just not right. But anyway, we're not talking about Percy Jackson. We're talking about the book that I read, and I rated it a 5 because I love Holly Black's writing. And I also read it as a filler between 2 books that I read because I wanted to be like, oh, I can read this book real quick. So yeah, and I had to fill out a square on a book bingo that I had, and that fit the description. Okay, so September was the month that I got into the Shower Me series by Tahira Ramafi. I am so sorry if I mispronounced that. Anyway, I read Shower Me for the first time last month, and it just blew my mind. It's like when I read Fourth Wing, and I just became obsessed with it because, honestly, this was my first dystopian novel, and I was a little confused. I was a little like, why is everyone dying? Why do they not have birds? Why do they not have food? Oh, this kind of similar to our government. Oh, maybe not, but also, it's the point of the genre, I guess. But I got introduced to Aaron Warner. And that's not the only highlight of Rain Shot Me, but it's a highlight. And I'm not gonna lie, at first I hated the dude because he just seemed evil, like very evil. But we'll get back to that. If you read the Shower Me vlog, which you totally should, if you or watch the Shower Me vlog if you haven't, you should totally watch the Shower Me vlog. But anyway, Shower Me follows our main character Juliet Ferrars, who has special magical powers and she's kept in the asylum by the reestablishment, and she's in there for almost a year. I think 264 days, and then she gets saved by Aaron Warner, who has his own motivations to use her for something. But she is free, and then she realizes I'm not free, so she dips, and then she gets actually no, let's read this. Okay, so you don't know what Shadow Me is? Shadow Me follows our main character Juliet Ferrars, who is kept in an asylum for 264 days by the oppressive government, the reestablishment, because she has special powers. And further in the series, actually, we find out like the lore behind all of that. But I'm not gonna lie, at first I was a little confused because it felt like it didn't have a clear plot. Like I'm used to books with like adventures in each book, but the adventures add up. Cause like I like Percy Jackson or even Fourth Wing. Although Fourth Wing kind of doesn't. It kind of has a like it kind of has adventures. Like I don't know what I'm saying actually. Let's move on from that. Actually, I have no clue what I'm saying. But anyway, we follow Juliet as she gets released from the asylum by Aaron Warner, who has his own intentions with her, and she kind of realizes like, okay, the world isn't what I thought it was. Okay, what did I do? And we see her fall in love with Adam Kent, who is a good guy at first. I did have to get used to the author's writing because the way the author writes is like kind of unusual for me. Not saying that it's bad. It's actually very unique and original because she writes. She has a good like she has a good way of displaying the character's voice and how the character's mental state is. Like Juliet, she's not really insane, but like she's kind of going crazy because she was locked up for 264 days. So she has like there's moments where she stretches out things or things don't seem to connect or like some of the words like they're not grammar they don't have the right grammar because I was not about to pronounce that word right. But I loved it. I just rated it 4.5 because I was confused at some points. But it's okay because I'm obsessed with it. I really am. And then I read Destroy Me, which was like book 1.5. It's a novella between Shatter Me and Unravel Me. I read I got to see Warner's point of view of Shatter Me kind of. So that's what the novellas are. They're like the same story but in other characters' point of view, which I think is fine. And very fun because I'm not gonna lie, I hate Warner and Shatter Me. And then I read Destroy Me and I kinda liked him a little bit. I still kinda hated him. Well, like you're crazy, dude, but we got to see why Warner is the way he is. His his dad sucks. Like what he really thinks about Juliet. And I rated it 5 stars because I love it. It got me to like Warner, so I just rated it 5 stars because it was a nice read. It's a quick read, and I got to count it against my work for my book goal, so I just rated it 5 stars. That's what I got because I really don't remember much other than Warner and that he got the redeemed as a character a little bit. I had to take a break from the Charmy world, kind of, because I had to read another book, but then also I bought the whole series. I had to wait for him to come, um, which was very irresponsible on my part, but my parents helped me buy it. So anyway, I took a break from reading the Charmy like books, and I read The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walker. Let me fact check that real quick and make sure I'm saying this right. So it is K.L. Walker. I think it's Walther. I hope it is. If it's not, again, sorry for mispronouncing the name. But yeah, I read it on my Kindle. So it was on Kindle Unlimited, and it was in. This was this was actually my book club's September read. I was actually on track with the book club. I rate The Summer of Broken Rules a 3.5 because again, I don't really read romance. Usually a romantically girly, but it was an interesting read. It kind of reminded me of November 9th by Colleen Hoover, and not in a bad way. I'm just saying that it was a lot of insta love. And I guess it's just because like she was technically having a hookup during, but like it was just kind of weird. But basically, it follows the main character, um, Meredith Fox, whose sister died 18 months prior to her cousin Sarah's. I can remember character names. Sarah's wedding, and every summer they kind of go to like Martha's Vineyard to spend time on their family farm. This time they're going for Sarah's wedding, and Meredith Fox gets to meet up with all her family and all her friends that she kind of ghosted because, again, her sister died. And at the wedding, she meets someone, named Wit, and they kind of get together. See, this is why I call it insta love, because they kind of like, you know how like when you meet someone, well, I don't know, I've never dated anyone, but I imagine when you meet someone, you kind of dip your toes in the water, you don't just dive right in. But she kind of just, whoop, she kind of just went and dived right into the water. Cause first she kicked the dude in the face, then she showed up. It's like, oh yeah, let's make an alliance. Cause there's like a game that they play. They play assassin every time they like go there for the summer. They have the alliance, and then like they made out. They did it. I'm pretty sure they did. Like it. The good thing about it is it's not like explicit, but like it's like you get the idea. Like it kind of they they infer that they're gonna. I don't think I would use that word right. But basically, you know what they did. And then also there's like a weird scene where like she licked his face. And I was just like, and then also she was kind of sensitive. I think I'm just like very insensitive to book characters sometimes. Just like, girl, why are you crying? Was like all this stuff is reminding her of her dead sister Harmony. Of course she's gonna cry, but it's like I'm so used to like in like fantasy like where they kind of just like suck it up, kind of. They kind of suck it up. Maybe that's my problem. But anyway, like there was a scene where like he licked his face for like a picture or something, and like granted, she can do whatever she wants to do, but it was kind of just freaking me out. But the spice wasn't really what took away the stars. I actually can't tell you what took away the stars. I just remember that like when I rate the books, I go based off of a feeling. So like sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna put it at 4 stars, and it's like, 4 stars is not. It's there. It wasn't good enough for 4 stars. So then I move it down. And I was like, yeah, 3.5. That works. But hey, it was an interesting read. I read that book actually very quickly. I think I read it in like 3 days, 3 or 4 days. So it wasn't that bad. I enjoyed it, and I would recommend it if you want a quick little romance read. Then my Xiaomi box set got delivered, and I read Unravel Me. I devoured that book. I think I actually read that book in like maybe 3 days, 2 or 3 days, and I rated it a 5 star because I I think it was because I was off the high of like the story. Me, I was like, oh my gosh, I have another Charmy book to read, and I liked that Juliet was kind of getting like more confident in herself. She wasn't like the most confident that she is in like the book that I'm reading right now, or that I just finished, but just kind of getting into it. And then also, I liked that I could sense that she was moving towards Warner because after I read, um, what's the book name? The novella I just like blanked. After after I read Destroy Me and I started to like Warner more, I was like kind of rooting for Warner. I was like, yay, I like Adam, but Warner. Date Warner. And yeah, it's just I liked it because it was moving towards Warner. And I know it's kind of bad because like what about the plot? But also I did kind of like Unravel Me though because first of all, Juliet, like I said, grew in her confidence, and then also she learned that she doesn't have to be that scared like little girl anymore. She said, "Screw y'all." And if there was a book where Juliet said "screw me" even more, it would be Ignite Me. I rated Ignite Me a 5 star. I wish I could have rated a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my gosh, this book was so good. First of all, because the Warnet vibes are just technically he's not even born yet. We're not even gonna talk about that. It's Warner, guys, Warner. Like I said, Juliet really like said screw everyone, and she got so like comfortable in her power and realized y'all don't control me. Like I can do whatever I want, and she went crazy in this book, bro. There's so many. Let me actually. Okay, let's see. These are my. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, But these are like my annotations. This is my most annotated book that I ever had. This is the book that I actually got into annotating like deeply. And I'm just gonna do a little tour. Okay, so you can't really see that much, but the orange are quotes that I thought was cool. Let's just focus on the dark blue and the dark green. Dark green, I don't know, you can see it is Warnet, and the dark blue is like Juliet BA moments. Like when like she said, I'm actually very powerful and y'all can't do anything about that. As you can see, most of this is green because Warnet was strong in this book. I loved it. I gobbled it up. I loved it. But yeah, I was gonna show y'all like one of the quotes that I liked, but I just realized that it was a big spoiler. But another point that I wanted to talk about was that Aaron really made me so mad in this book, and I learned why. It's because like the author based Aaron did I say Aaron? I meant Adam. The author based Adam based off of like a guy she was dating at the time, and then like they broke up, and then she was like, no, like this is literally how it went. This is literally how my like love for Aaron went. Like this is how the author said it. Hey, Harmony, you know Adam, right? Oh yeah, him and Juliet are kind of cool, but like, nope. What? What? You actually hate him. Like, you hate him with a passion. He's actually the most disrespectful loser you've ever met in your entire life. Like, you actually want to go into the book and just like strangle him. What? But Warner though, that's the man though. You should like Warner. Basically, that's the whole summary of why Adam is like not it anymore. Now, of course, like it's understandable as to why he was like the way he was, but like he was just such a brat. And it's like, ugh. Like at first it was like, okay, like I understand why he doesn't like Warner, why he's kind of mad at Juliet, but then at the same time it was kind of like, dude, shut up, stop crying. Like, do you want a bottle? You're acting like a baby. And it's just like times where it's like, just shut up. Even like everyone else was fed up with it. Like he just like kept going at her and kept going at her. And Juliet was just like, um, first of all, and then he would be like, and you suck, and you're dating Warner, and what's wrong with you? And then Juliet was like, dude, like it's not even that deep, but it's okay. He gets better, but he gets me so mad. And then I read Fracture Me, which I can't really remember why. I think I rated it a 3.5. I didn't even rate it a 3.5 stars. I rated it a 3 star because I I was mad at Adam, and like I had finished Night Me on the bus, and then I started Fracture Me, and I went on a walk and I was listening to him. It's just like his point of view made me so mad because like I think he has had some unresolved issues that he needs to go to therapy for because it's like he was just whining for some of it. It's like, why did we bring Juliet here? We shouldn't have brought Juliet here. Oh, Juliet's not ready for this. And it's like, dude, Warner was right when he was saying that you're literally holding her back. Because it's literally what you're doing. You want her to sit there and be fragile, like she said that you want her to be. And it's like, dude. And also, like, while I was on the walk, I was literally like listening to the audiobook. And the whole time I was thinking, he has anger issues. He needs to go to therapy. Maybe he should talk to someone. And I get it. Like, you want James to be safe. You're mad because Juliet broke up with you. You're mad about a lot of things. But with the situation that you're in, with the fact that your world's literally going to crap, you have to suck it up. Like, he was just, at his big age, he should not have been whining like that. Maybe I was just biased because he don't make me mad in the third book, and I was already on Team Warner, but he was kind of just making me mad. And he does get redeemed, but like at that point while I was reading it, I was like, screw Adam. The final book that I read in the month of September was Virtually Yours by Jeremy Holt. It's a graphic novel. And I usually don't read graphic novels, but I had to get a book bingo somehow. and one of the boxes was graphic novels, so I had to do it. But this novel did not disappoint. I think I rated a 5. No, I rated a 4.5. I really don't know why I didn't rate it a 5, because I actually enjoyed that book. But anyway, I read it on my Kindle in like, I think 2 days. Actually, it might have been one day. No, it was two, because I read, I started when I finished Fracture Me, so yeah. But basically, it follows the main character, Estrella, whose mom is like, hey, you should like get a husband. Like, why don't you have a husband? Like, you're too focused on your job. And Eva, Eva is Eva, Eva, Eva Estrella. Yeah, Eva Estrella. Anyway, Eva is like, Mom, I just want to be a journalist. And her mom's like, well, it's not even a real job. You don't have a husband. You're living with us. You have no money. So her sister goes in and is like, hey, I found this app called Virtually Yours, where you can basically pay someone to give you all the things a boyfriend gives you without having a boyfriend. So she picks someone named Adam, and he like sends her voicemails, flowers to her job so everyone thinks she has a boyfriend, and helps her get her mom off her back. And that's kind of interesting. It reminded me of Love Theoretically a little bit because Elsie was like a she he was a fake dater, but like this one's virtual. It's like you never meet the person. Like it's literally the person that is shown on their website is a fake person. And she also picks like a guy who would like make her mom so mad. But anyway, she goes through with it and she finds out that the person that she is fake dating is actually someone who she would like in real life. And who someone that she knows in real life. And they go through this whole thing where they're like, so you lied. But like they're not really lying. But it's a very good and quick read. And honestly, if I find like books that like if that was like a series and it was more books, I would actually read it. I might actually read more graphic novels by that author because it was very interesting and I liked it. I'm a huge mood reader, so this TBR really doesn't mean much, but I need to read at least 2 books, so I like to give myself kind of options, although I have my whole bookshelf. But a book that I definitely want to read in October, though, is The Court of the Dead. My friend at school had 2 copies of this book, so she was like, "Hey, like I'll just give you this one," and she's reading it right now. And by the way, it's by Rick Gordon, so it's in the Percy Jackson world. But she's reading it right now, and then in class she goes, "Someone died." Yeah, someone dies, and I was like, "Who dies?" And I was like, never mind, don't tell me, don't tell me." And she was like, "Yeah, it's very sad." And I was like, because it follows Nico and Will, and I know I'm about to go to college and I should probably like age out of like this like genre and like this book series, but I will never age out of this. Honestly, I don't really know what it's about. I just know that it goes after The Sun and the Star, which I have and I've read. So I'm excited to read it. I know that it's Nico and Will helping Hazel with something at Camp Jupiter. I'm just scared to learn who dies. Because in my mind, there's only 3 people that I think, actually, there's 4 people that could die. It could be Nico, Will, who I thought was gonna die, and the Sun and the Star, Hazel, or Frank. I think Frank. Frank has to fit in there somehow. But like, out of all those people, I don't want anyone to die. Like, I would cry if any of them died. I actually cried when Jason died in the Brain Maze, and I even liked Jason like that. I didn't like him. I actually kind of despised him because of the whole like I'm used to Percy thing. But if Will dies, if Will or Nico dies, I'm gonna cry because those are like my comfort characters. It's Will, Nico, and Leo. I love those are like my 3 characters. Yes, they're all guys, I don't know why. I like Nico because I like the Hayes cabin, and also he's been through a lot. I like traumatized characters. I'm coming to realize, and I don't know if that's something I should get checked out, but I really like traumatized characters. I like Will because in like the beginning of the series, like with the Percy Jackson series and the Heroes of Olympus, you don't really see much of him. You see some of him once like he gets involved in like the war and he helps, and then you see him in the Trials of Apollo, but like you don't see him like in depth. And I just feel like I think the only reason I liked him is because like I know that there's something behind like his kind of like I like traumatized characters, so I know that there's something that he's hiding. And I heard that he actually has a lot of like trauma revealed in Court of the Dead, so I'm excited. And then Leo because I had a big fat crush on him once I read the Heroes of Olympus series in fifth grade. I had the biggest crush on that boy, and I still to this day kind of do, and I still hate Calypso with a passion. I hate Cleo. The idea of Cleo actually makes me so freaking mad. But you know what? That's for another video because I might actually end up doing a vlog of me reading it. Although he's not even in this book, I don't think. But anyway, hate Cleo. Excited to read the book. Although people say that like they hate that it's a co-author type deal. And not gonna lie, it was kind of weird because like I know like they're in the modern world, but like when I saw like a Lil Nas X reference, I was kind of just like, ew. Like I hate when like books reference modern things if like they're supposed to have like magical elements in it. I don't know. The next book that I want to read is Shadow Me. It's a novella after Restore Me because I finished that. So that's my first book of October that I finished already. But I want to read Shadow Me. It's in Kenji's point of view, so it's like the end of like Restore Me in Kenji's point of view. And I think that's very interesting because like we already know that Kenji is a complicated character and he's supposed to be the comedic relief character, and usually the comedic relief characters have what? A lot of trauma. So I'm interested to see how he sees the story and how he sees Juliet. And then since it's October, I want to read books on my Kindle a lot because my Kindle free subscription, ends in November. So I really need to read good books. I'm not gonna like force myself to read books, but like I would like to read more books on there. So I have like a list, but I want to read Powerless. Um, I just found that it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I want to read Powerless. I know a lot of people don't like it. Um, I I don't want to go based on like what people say, so I'm gonna read it for myself. And then also I want to eventually in life read what Red Queen and I guess the Hunger Games because I never read Hunger Games, and I know people say that like, oh, she like plagiarized like literally a whole concept. I want to support a fellow book talker because I think it's very cool that like she like was a book talker and she was like decided like, oh, I'm gonna read, like I'm gonna write my own book, which is something that I want to do. Although I was a writer before I was a book talker, but yeah, I think that like how big she's gotten, and I just want to read it and see if it's like worth the hype. The last book that I want to read is Divine Rivals. Well, the last book I want to read on my Kindle is Divine Rivals. Because like I haven't read the book, I'm gonna read off what Kindle says about it. They say that it's like lore meets Shadow and Bone, which I read both of those books, which sounds interesting because again, it's about mythology. I'm not sure if it's Greek mythology or if it's just like a made up mythology that the author made. But it says after centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. But 18-year-old Iris Winnow just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction, and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her, best Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Off Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, where they vanish into the hands of Roman Kit, which I've heard of, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back. The two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle for her brother, the fate of mankind, and love. And then it's Shadow and Bone meets Lore and Rebecca Ross's divine rivals. And it's enemies to lover and fantasy. So anyway, that's the books that I read in September and also the books that I hope to read in October. I would like to know like what you guys are planning to read or what you have read in the past month. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and remember that Jesus loves you. Bye.